You're watching E.T.N. Share and subscribe.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do Godzilla 30 for 30! Yes! Yes! Godzilla 30 for 30 is back on E.T.N. We are going to do 30 Godzilla videos for 30 days. Wait, let me rephrase that. We're going to try and do 30 Godzilla videos for 30 days. And it's not that I don't have the topics. I have the topics. But you guys know with my crazy schedule and all the crazy stuff going on that, you know, I'm going to have, it'll be a little bit tough to probably nail it in 30 days, but I'm going to try. So this might be more like a 30 for 45. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. We're going to kick things off with a topic I thought about when I recently saw this movie, and this is Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, and how I feel after viewing it recently again with my son, because, you know, there's certain movies he hadn't seen yet. This movie was really ahead of its time. It really, really was ahead of its time. When you look at the message of the movie, obviously pollution was the big theme of the movie, and during the 70s, there was a big movement for that, you know, nature and stuff like that, and taking care of the earth. That's kind of when that movement really started to happen. But within that theme, I kind of feel like this movie, it was very different from a lot of the other Godzilla movies prior to it, you know, and even after it. You know, when you think about the Heisei series, those movies are pretty dark, you know. Godzilla vs. Biollante, fairly dark, you know, and certain things happen in that movie that you hadn't seen happen before, or you only saw happen once. For example, when Biollante pierces his hand, he starts bleeding. We did see Godzilla bleed in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, which was another rarity back in those days. We saw it once again happen in Godzilla vs. Gigan. But very rarely did you see that stuff was kind of here and there, you know. When you look at Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster was actually, when you sit back and think about it, a fairly terrifying monster. Not only did he pollute everything he touched, but think about some of the scenes that took place in that movie. For example, when he's flying above, it was flying through the sky, and he passes across, like, you know, a group of people, and they turn into skeletons. I mean, that was insane. And when you really look back at some of the Godzilla movies, you really didn't see too much happen to people. You know, they'd run. You could easily assume that if a monster was trudging through a city, people were getting crushed, but you didn't see it. So to actually see a monster have an effect directly on the humans was fairly new at that time. And it gave me a whole different perspective for the movie, because as goofy as some of the scenes were, like Godzilla flying, everything related to Hedorah was fairly dark for that kind of movie, for a Godzilla movie. And it was a very contrast. You know, when you did see Hedorah, again, darkness, the pollution, people turning into skeletons, the man who had the, you know, all over his face after touching him, how Hedorah started and what he transformed into, his different forms, you know, just his effects on people or places surrounding him was pretty dark. And then on the Godzilla end, you had a complete flip, you know, the happy music, the flying, people, Godzilla playing the hero, all that kind of stuff. And it was such, you know, I look back at it now, I'm like, wow, this was really just kind of ahead of its time. I think if Godzilla vs. Hedorah had come out in the 90s with the Heisei series, and obviously the effects would have been a little bit different, a little bit more updated. The storyline might have been taken a little bit seriously, because the Godzilla during the Heisei series was more like an anti-hero. He wasn't a direct hero. I really think that probably would have been the best Godzilla movie in the Heisei series. If you add everything that Hedorah brings to the table, all right, on top of that, take the Heisei Godzilla and his attitude, not the happy-go-lucky hero Godzilla, I think you would have had a monumental Godzilla movie during the 90s. And I really think it probably would have been the best one, because again, Hedorah had such an effect on humans in the movie and such an effect on nature and everything surrounding people that it was more, I think it would have hit home more. And not necessarily the message, because let's face it, some people just don't care about the message. Some people don't pay attention to it. But I really think people would have kind of reacted to the monster like, wow, this monster's no joke. This monster's serious. This monster's like killing people. Like, people are actually turning into skeletons. People are like dying of choking on acid. You know what I mean? And some of the things that Hedorah did in the movie too was just so different. Like when you see this, when he drops the sludge, you know what I mean? And when he's in the street and he's kind of like just consuming things around him, and you see all the cars getting like sucked up. It was just such a unique monster when I sit back and look at it. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I know a lot of people consider the movie to be, somewhat cheesy and a little goofy, but I really do think it was ahead of its time. I really do think that if Godzilla vs. Hedorah had come into the 90s and you had the Heisei Godzilla in the movie, along with everything that Hedorah brought to the table, I really do think it would have been probably one of the best, if not the best, Heisei movies in the Godzilla collection. And it's just amazing when I sit back and I'm like, wow, because I'm watching my son watch this and I'm seeing how it's affecting him, and that kind of gave me a whole new perspective on the movie, that it could actually be a scary movie from Hedorah's standpoint. And it really does elevate Godzilla into the hero status in the movie, because there's so contrast, it's just so different when the two monsters are on screen. Godzilla had the music, he got the flying, he's saving people and all this and all that, while Hedorah is just wreaking havoc on everyone and killing people, and you could actually see it happen, which is something that we did not see very much, if at all, during the Showa series. So, what do you guys think about Godzilla Hedorah? If you get a chance, go take a look at the movie again, look at it from a different perspective, and tell me if you can find some things in the movie now that maybe you didn't notice before that you think could make it a better movie had it been released during the Heisei series. Anyway, guys, that's it for this first episode of Godzilla 30 for 30. We will be doing more, obviously, on a daily basis is the goal. However, as I said, it might be Godzilla 30 for 45, but we'll see how things go. Either way, you will be getting 30 Godzilla videos on 30 random subjects over the course of the next 6 weeks. That's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. You can follow E.T.N on Facebook, Twitch or Twitter, or join the Nation Facebook page. Don't forget to click that subscribe button on your way out.